I want to be a motherfucking hunter. I gotta ask somebody.
Here we are, the Power Five. So, making his debut in the Power Five. It hurts my heart, but I am putting my good friend Rocky Wilkinson, Nation of Domination, at number 5. Probably because I traded him the players he needed to be there.
It's half your roster.
My son is pounding on the door. I put him to bed 2 hours ago. So listen, I gave him Kyler Murray for Kareem Hunt. I thought I took a bath on that trade. The more I think about it, I like it. I like it for him. I like it for me. I don't care about him. But he has Cam Newton, which is currently on the block. He keeps telling everybody he's a Patriot now. So his quarterback situation is tops. He has Kyler Murray. I believe he could be a top 5 guy this year. I believe he could, with the influx of Hopkins and a second year in the league. Jimmy.
Rushing.
Oh, yeah. I hope he takes off more. He didn't do it last year. It pissed me off as an owner. Cam with the Patriots, got to be all right. Jimmy G, don't love him, but, I mean, I would take him as a backup. Yeah. You move on to Josh Jacobs. Now, I trashed Josh Jacobs last year. Bama guy, right?
Yeah.
Just, I mean, how
I'm
do you...
still not a believer.
You aren't? He put up numbers.
Yeah, but so did Trent Richardson.
He had some nice runs.
Remember?
Trent Richardson.
I mean,
Rocky drafted the Trent Richardson of 2019. Good job, bud. So I like that. Kenyon Drake. He loves the Drake.
he does.
So Drake came from Bama? Georgia.
No, he's a Bama guy.
He came from Bama too.
He's got a loaded... I think he might have the Bama backfield.
Wait a minute. Who else likes Bama? Wasn't it somebody else that was in the league?
I think there's other
V&D,
guy that
his
was-
buddy,
his
right?
buddy.
So anyway, so he has Josh Jacobs, he has Kenyon Drake, and then after that it starts getting a little. He lost Breida. Like Breida went to the Dolphins, and I don't hate it. I like Breida, but I know Rocky hates it because he's a Niners fan. Damian Harris, he could get a shot. We talked about that earlier with Sony if he kind of falters. Zach Moss. Let's talk about.
I heard your comment about Zach Moss. I wish I was there to defend my boyfriend, Zach
Moss. So Zach Moss is. I mean, I guess he could push Singletary a little bit. I don't know. I don't love it. But he's probably his running back 5. Carlos Hyde, Hines. We had a deal. We had an argument about Hines and who was the other asshole? The Colts drafted Wilkins. I drafted Wilkins. Rocky drafted Hines. Look, neither one of the guys should be rostered anymore. Hines, get him out of here. You just got Jonathan Taylor in there. You still have Mack. It's just not a good look. But you're in the top 5 for a reason, and I'll give you that, because your receiving core is sick. I believe in Juju. Juju had a down year. He didn't have Ben Roethlisberger. He had Mason Rudolph throwing them the ball. Then he had some other idiot. Then he had some other loser. Roethlisberger's supposed to be back. He's supposed to be healthy. I believe in Juju this year. What about you?
Well, how much do you believe in Juju?
Top 10. Wide receiver.
Yeah, but has he done anything since Brown left? Was that the first year last year?
Yeah.
I guess it's hard to make a.
It's hard.
It's hard to make a decision. I'm a Steeler fan, so you know that I like Juju. The franchise doesn't seem to like him. I've heard that they're not going to sign him. So, and maybe it's a money thing. They do that with all their receivers. Mike Wallace. Who was the other guy that they let walk a couple years ago? Santonio.
They had Santonio. They had Plaxico. Hines Ward they kept on the roster forever.
Right, but they weren't breaking the bank for. They don't break the bank for receivers. There's a handful if you go down through.
They're good at drafting and they know it.
Right, so I don't even. You have uncertainty. I know we're looking at this year, but you have some uncertainty with Juju, even at his young age, because Roethlisberger's old. How many more years does he have? So even if he stays with the Steelers, I don't know. Maybe he's somewhere else next year, and that could be better. That could be worse. So I don't know. I mean, is Juju a top 20 receiver? Probably, but I'd be hard pressed to get him into the top 15. I think.
I think it's a bounce back, and I think the targets that you saw. So when you go back 2 years, and you go back to when they had Juju and AB, and I know AB took a lot of the pressure. But think of the targets that those two saw, and now maybe isn't there. So Juju has to absorb some of that, and
I think the
he has
other part of the argument is you don't know Roethlisberger's elbow, right?
Yeah.
So like if his elbow is 100%, it's a little different. But you have Ebron there now. Maybe he takes away some targets. You have the emergence of Deontay Johnson, who I do really like. He's a slot guy. I think he caught 70 balls last year or something like that, something crazy. Like his numbers match like McLaurin on fewer targets. Like it was something crazy like
There's
that.
no way.
Yeah, I'll have to pull that
I'd
stat
have to
up
look
for
it
you.
up. And speaking of McLaurin,
I think maybe it wasn't McLaurin, maybe it was like Metcalf. Whoever the rookie receivers were last year, Deontay Johnson is right up there with all the rookie receivers. Like you wouldn't think it, but he's right up there.
huh? Well, you personally traded OBJ and McLaurin for
Yeah, I wanted out of OBJ. Like
Devontae Adams.
I think OBJ is good. Obviously, I just don't know. I don't know about Mayfield. I own Mayfield, so like
Right.
I don't know. And he's just drama written all over him. So
Yeah.
I wanted off of there. But then again, having OBJ in your 2 or 3 spot, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I like OBJ. I mean, as a player, time and time again, I think he proves himself. I think he had a down year last year. I don't know. I think a bounce back. I think a second year with Mayfield might help him out.
Maybe the coaching change.
Maybe
helps.
the coaching change
But
helps.
again, that's Stefanski who threw the ball 12 times with
yeah.
friggin' the. Yeah.
I get it, but maybe this takes us back 30 years, and maybe the run opens up the pass. But let's talk about McLaurin. I loved Terry McLaurin last year. That guy was a firecracker, and we're talking about a rookie coming in who had not a whole lot of hype behind him. And he got drafted the 3rd round or something.
5 and I don't know where.
No,
he
I mean
in
real life.
I'm not sure.
I mean he wasn't like a top guy, and he came in and. You watch some of his route running, the guy is awesome. And you know what? He needs Haskins to at least just be able to put the ball in his vicinity, and I think
Right.
McLaurin could be a top 15 receiver.
I mean, I don't have anybody else to throw to,
They
so
don't
I can't
have
argue with
anybody
that.
else to
But
throw
it's,
to.
I'm not.
So
as
when I
high
look at it,
on-
I see Juju, OBJ, and McLaurin, and I'm thinking he has 3 top 15 receivers. You don't
man.
see that, but that's what I see.
15. Like,
Yeah.
I don't see it. Like I don't. Where did McLaurin finish last year? In the top 25, probably.
Oh yeah, I would imagine.
I mean, the targets are going to be there, but I'm not as big on McLaurin as most people. I like him, but I don't love him. I just don't see it. I don't see it long term. I guess more so than they're always going to be drafting a receiver because they got nobody else, and until they get a quarterback that I'm comfortable with, I'm just not on the McLaurin
Okay.
bandwagon. So like.
Well, he's sitting with Tyler Boyd as his 4th receiver. Now, Rocky tried to trade Tyler Boyd for 17 first-round picks. He was almost as valuable as
As
Hunter
Hunter
Henry. But as a 4th receiver, I would take Tyler Boyd. That's a good 4th receiver to have. His receiving crew is solid. I even like Jalen Hurd, which I wouldn't even say is his 5th right. He has Tyrell Williams. So his wide receiver court, Lazard. He's looking at Green Bay's 2nd wide receiver back at his wide receiver 7. So he's sitting with a good wide receiver crew. And then the thing I like about Rocky's team is his tight end situation. How can you not like George Kittle? The guy's a monster.
Right.
So you're looking at Kittle. You have a top tight end. You have a top quarterback in Kyler, in my eyes. You have 2 viable running backs in Jacobs and Drake. Now Drake has never really carried a load. That's not to say that week-to-week production could spike.
Yeah, he was.
Which is what you want.
He was like a top 7 running back though. Once he went to Arizona, it's hard. Again, they only put the transition tag on him too, so they're not 100% sold on him. But the way that they utilize running back, he'll catch passes, he'll run. So it's not Adam Gase run offense. So I do like Drake, but I don't think I'm as high on Drake as everybody else is. But I do like Drake. So.
Yeah.
And I'm not as high on Jacobs, but you mentioned Kittle, so Kittle will make up those points.
Kittle makes it up. Like you can
Right.
build a team around a tight end.
Right.
This can happen. In my original draft in this league was 6 years ago. Kelsey was the only guy left in my original roster. I basically built a team around a tight end and eventually won this. You also can do it, Rocky. I believe in you.
So, I actually don't have Rocky at 5. Rocky's actually higher on my list.
Wow. That loser?
Much to Adam's chagrin. So, I have at my number 5 spot, in honor of the 5-year plan, I have Iron Fist Rebellion.
There you go.
How could you not like his starting running backs? His running backs, I think, are what? Chubb and Henry. At some point, though, you got to think Henry just can't continue to take like all those carries and continue to be that successful without either sustaining an injury or whatever. So
You would think, but we never saw a running back this large.
I guess, but he was
The
so
guy is-
dominant in the playoffs. Like it's hard not to like him. Chubb is awesome. He could be even better if you didn't have like Hunt there or so he's awesome. I don't think he has much behind those guys though. If I remember his roster, what is
Harvey?
You have-
Oh, he has David Johnson, and then he has Gus Edwards in his
okay?
taxi.
So I
and
guess
that's
David
it.
Johnson a little bit, but he has like nobody behind him. So an injury to one of those guys, forget it. He doesn't really have a true number 1 receiver either. So which is like
He's
kind of why
playing
I think
matchups on all 3 receivers every
So
week.
I think one of them is Debo, right? So
Debo,
like
yeah.
he's injured with that foot injury
Just
that like
Chark. I would
kinda-
take Chark as
as
a.
a wide receiver 1 though. Like I think that's the only reason I don't have him higher because like to your point, the running as good as the running backs are, and with Rocky having Kittle, I just think makes up for the lack of. I mean, you got Shark, Debo, and who's his third guy?
Well, he has Hollywood. He has Marvin Jones, Deshaun Jackson. These are all guys that you would play matchups for, and
And to be honest with
and
you,
smash. Like,
Harvey's
you could
building a freaking wide receiver factory here with his draft. I mean, he drafted 3 awesome receivers with his
Yeah.
top 3 picks. Like, I mean, on paper anyway. So like maybe he makes a move and can get a running back with some of these rookies that he drafted. But
well, in the comparison with Rocky and Harvey's team, and we talked about Kittle, he does have Mark Andrews.
yeah, okay. So
Mark
I actually
Andrews
made a note of Mark Andrews. Like, is Mark Andrews elite? I know people think that he is. I guess maybe I'm not completely sold on Mark Andrews.
You just don't like guys with diabetes.
I'm not completely sold on Mark Andrews, and I'll tell you why. I think it's that offense is run driven. Also, Jackson likes to run, and I don't know Andrews. I don't think Andrews' stats are as good as people think. I don't know that though. Like I'm just making a hypothetical statement.
See, I think the run helps Mark Andrews because I think that's like a Gruden Y2 banana situation where they're just rolling out, pop it to a short tight end spot.
Right. I'm just not 100% sold on Andrews as like an elite guy. Like Kittle's gonna
Athletically,
outscore
you mean? Like,
Andrews.
yeah.
It's not even that. I just think that offense is not just built around.
okay,
the
because
tight
the
end.
Niners ran a lot too, and that actually opened up Kittle a little bit. But he could have got more targets, and more targets are available for both of them, I think.
Right. And I know people are super high on Andrews. I'm just not one of those guys. I would love to have Mark Andrews. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just not as sold on him as everybody else. I'd
So
like
if you had
see
to
one
put
more
Mark
year.
Andrews in like the tight ends, like where would you place him as a tight end? Tight end 6, tight end 3, tight end 7. Where are you putting him? 'Cause you got Kelsey,
I think Kittle's 1.
Kelsey,
Kittle and Kelsey
Ertz.
are like 1, 2, and Ertz at 3, and then you got. I think Ingram when he's healthy is really
Ingram
good.
when he's healthy.
I think he's in the top 5.
And then I think Andrews is right
Andrews
there.
is there, so he's a top 5 guy. I can't think of the other guys.
Right.
Because Hooper left, Higbee. That's who I have. I can't think of anybody else, but I do. I'm okay. So he's a top 5. I don't know if he's elite yet though, and I don't know. So when I compare the two teams, I think that Rocky has the better receiving core. I think Rocky has the better tight end. I think Rocky has the better quarterback. Wentz and Stafford, Harvey have. I mean, I think Stafford could be a guy that could win you a league, to be honest with you, the way he was playing before he got injured. If Wentz could ever stay healthy and has weapons, I mean, Wentz, for as much shit as people talk on Wentz was like a top 10 quarterback with like nobody.
Yeah, preach.
Like if you get any type of help that he can get, I think he can be good. But I mean, I'd rather have Kyler Murray than any of the guys on his roster. So for me, Harvey at 5. Harvey's draft, like I said, he was building a wide receiver factory. It looks like Lamb at 5, Judy at 7, Higgins at 2-7 might be the biggest steal in the entire draft. I didn't like his last 2 picks, and I don't think Hamler has a role. Like there's just too
I
many.
agree. It's a kind of a gadget role or something that you're not going to get much fancy.
I mean, I think if you're going to
production.
receiver there,
You'll never play him.
you're going. I keep bringing this up. I think if you're going to receiver there, you take Chenault or Edwards at that point instead of Handler. Love, he's got multiple quarterbacks. I guess he has the ability to keep them waiting, but at the same time, why not try and fill a spot up that of a need? He doesn't. He has
Right.
Stafford, Wentz, and Jones. Like, when's Love ever going to see the field?
But when to that argument, when are you gonna like where are you going with that? I guess at 212, are you gonna try to take a running back just because you're thin at running back?
No,
Even though
I would've
his running
taken-
backs are very
I would
good.
have stayed with a strategy, and I would have just said, I'm going to take Chenault and Edwards, and I'm going to
Just
have
keep
5
them
awesome
a million
receivers, and then
receivers.
you guys got to come through me to get the receiver. If he takes 5 receivers, and 2 of them are probably going to hit, right?
Yeah.
At least one. So maybe just,
and Lamb and Judy are your top 2. I would
you know what I
think.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
so if you go Lamb, Judy, Higgins, Chenault, Edwards, you got like those are all second round picks that I mentioned. You know what I mean? Like, so after Judy and Lamb, and Higgins is probably like a consensus round 1 guy.
So what was your grade on Harvey's draft?
I gave Harvey a solid B. I thought it was awesome.
A
Like,
B.
and again, I didn't give anybody an A. So a B is the second best grade because I gave a B plus as my top grade. So I thought Harvey had one of the top drafts, and I think a lot of it fell to him. But I also think that he's well on his way to another 5-year plan.
10-year plan. So I agree. Harvey had an excellent draft. I'm going to talk about Rocky's draft for a minute. He traded up to 111 for Pittman. I would not have done that. I like Pittman. If I'm trading up for a wide receiver, it's Justin Jefferson. Zach Moss at 2.6.
Oh, Zach Moss! I wish I could be
I could be there
talking about Zach
Moss.
All about depth piece. Oh.
So Gandy Golden at
I
3-1.
thought that was a reach too.
I like Gandy Golden. I
I
just
do
don't
too.
like Haskins. Nobody likes Haskins. That's the problem.
Andy Golden at 3-1. Rocky's one of those guys though, like it's his guy to
Yeah.
draft. Like he doesn't care about rankings or whatever. So.
Well, Gandy Golden, he's not only an athlete in every aspect, he's also like a high character guy. That goes a long way in the NFL sometimes. And when you're talking about an organization like Washington, who they have nothing but McLaurin at receiver, maybe you get a shot.
Sure.
You know, maybe. So Gandy Golden isn't a bad pick there. DJ Dallas, I laugh at that pick. That pick is as bad as Rocky's hair. It's so horrible. So that was the one thing I have on Rocky. His hair's really not that bad. It's the first thing that came to my mind. So I gave Rocky a B for his draft. I guess it could have been better if he would have taken Jefferson instead of Pittman. But I do like Pittman. Don't get me wrong. I just don't think that that's happening anytime soon. Zach Moss, So Rocky gets a B. He sticks at 5 for me. I already wrote it down. What do you got for?
Harvey at
Harvey.
5, and B for the first draft grade.
All right, you heard it here. Power 5. Harvey and Rocky made it. You guys made it.